March is the month to celebrate all the glory and the beauty that is you. And you boys that are out there, you guys that are listening in, we love you too. We are here to celebrate Women's Day, Women's Month, and I'm so excited to get us all started. So, with that said, I would like to introduce to you my co-host, Hasina Patel, and she is a certified yoga instructor, and she believes in using yoga for restoring energy and calming the mind and to strengthen the body. She's going to lead us in a 5-minute chair yoga practice to awaken our bodies and our minds. Thank you, Hasina.
Hi, thanks so much, Vanessa. It's so great to see everyone here. And if you haven't muted yourself yet, may I please ask you to just mute, just to avoid the feedback, because we all so many people here and just so in gratitude to share this event with you. So let's start with some wonderful energy. And the first thing is to get the breathing going. So we're all sitting in chairs, or perhaps some of us are sitting in different ways, but however you are sitting, this can be used at work, it can be used anytime. And if you're worried about what your colleagues think of you, then just get them to do it as well, because it really gets the energy going. So we're going to put our hands to heart center, inhale all the way up, hands still together, and exhale down and come back to heart center. Inhale up, exhale down, back to heart center. Once more, inhale up and exhale down, back to heart center. Make sure that you're lifting up your chest and that your shoulders are back. There's no arch in your back. Your core is tight. And we are just going to put the hands up together. And we're going to inhale, exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to a back bend, a slight back bend, hips forward, core tight, no strain in the back. Inhale back to center. And exhale, hands back to heart center. And now we're going to go into something called eagle arms. So take your right hand and put it like this in front of your nose. So your hand is in front of your nose. Take the left hand in front of the right hand and then take it all the way around to meet your right hand. So the palms are facing each other. Tighten your core again. And we're going to inhale the arms up. Don't strain yourself. Inhale up. And exhale down. And once more, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then we're going to do it on the other side. So we're going to take the left hand in front of your nose like this. Take the right hand, back of the hand together, and then take the palms to meet. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And once more, inhale up and exhale down. And for those, then just release your arms. For those of you who can, just stretch out your legs. Luckily, we're on Zoom, so for those women who are wearing dresses, you don't have to really worry. And take your arms out. If you're somewhere where you can, stretch your arms out. And just lift up your legs so that your legs are parallel to the floor, core tight, glutes tight. Inhale and exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And once more, inhale up and exhale down. Last exercise to open up your back. Just take your hand, your right hand to the left tricep and just get a stretch so that you're looking over your left shoulder if you can. Core tight. And back. And left hand to right tricep, looking over your right shoulder. And back. And just shake it all out. And make sure there's no tension in your neck and shoulders. Just rotate your head. And we are done, everyone. I think we're all woken up this morning. And welcome to the rest of the program. So I will introduce our first speaker. And our first speaker, it's a great privilege to introduce Vanessa. So Vanessa performed on stages around the world as a dancer and a musical theatre performer for almost 20 years. She's also a certified massage therapist and an aesthetician. After retiring from the performance industry and running an in-home beauty business, she pursued a career in the fitness and wellness industry. She is a seasoned Pilates instructor, yoga teacher, personal trainer, and she also owns her own kettlebell certification master trainer program. With her experience in the performance, beauty, and fitness industries, Vanessa created her self-image and confidence coaching business. She's an author, speaker, multiple business owner, and a coach, a confidence coach. She helps entrepreneurs, speakers, and leaders to improve their confidence, create meaningful relationships, and show up as the best version of themselves when they need it most, so they can be successful personally, professionally, and financially. So please help me to welcome Nessa Raymond from Colorado.
Welcome, Hi, thank you. Thank you, Hasina. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I am so happy and privileged to be here with you guys. And Hasina, thank you for that lovely yoga little wake up. I needed that, getting a little stretched out. And I am excited to be here today and chat with you ladies about unstoppable confidence and how to embody your own power, your own superpowers as a woman. Now, I am going to share my screen with you guys for a minute here. And I will come in and out of this PowerPoint presentation because I want to be talking to you guys. I don't want you to be staring at a slide all the time. But I am passionate about helping women in particular, anybody and everybody, but in particular women, with their self-confidence and their self-image. You as a human being are so powerful. And when you grasp the power that you possess, everything changes. We are all creators of our own lives. I always like to say, as part of my background in the performance industry, you are the lead actor in your own play, and you get to write the script as you go along. And that is really how much power we have in our own lives. And we each and every single one of us have our own set of superpowers. And my hope for you and my wish for you is that you discover yours early on. And if you haven't discovered it yet, that you find your passion, because that is what life is about. I believe life is about meaningful relationships and being able to share our passion and our purpose with the world. Just a little bit about myself here for a second, and I know Hasina introduced me so well, but I am a mother of 3. I'm a wife, And I'm an author, a speaker. My greatest passion for a big part of my life was performing as a dancer and a musical theater performer. And I'm also a fitness, health, and wellness professional. And so I have gained so much experience in my life when it comes to what is it that makes us stand out in the crowd. I've had my own struggles with self-image and self-confidence. Living in the world of the performing arts for a long time showed me so much. I mean, and one of the messages that I really want to send you today is, don't always take everything everybody else has to say to heart. Certainly, we're always striving to be better. And those people that matter in our lives, those people that love us most and that care about us most, those are the ones we should listen to. Those are the ones we should pay attention to. With social media and everything that we are exposed to these days, people's opinions, left, right, and center, people that don't really even know us that well, we cannot let them tear us down or stop us from chasing our dream and going after the stars. Your job is to write your own script, and your script is about reaching higher and reaching for the stars. So I want to share a short little story with you, because the story that I would like to share with you it's a true story. It happened in 2005. I was sitting behind the front desk in the Pilates studio where I was teaching Pilates at the time. And this young lady walked in. And I promise you, I could not see her face. She was hunched over. She had her bangs across her face. She was looking down. And she spoke with a very timid, very quiet voice. And she said, "Excuse me, I'd love to try some Pilates." And of course, I was like, "I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get you scheduled. I happen to have an opening tomorrow. Would you like to come in?" The next day she came in, same thing. She had that very introvert posture. She was obviously very shy, very drawn into her own world. I took her over to the Reformer, or actually the Cadillac, where I do all my consultations with my clients. I had her sit down and we had an initial conversation during which she shared with me that she had a few years previous, she had found out that she had a malignant tumor in her neck, and she had the tumor removed. And as she pulled her hair back, I could see that there was a huge gouge in her neck. She had no flesh in her neck. The muscle was completely removed. And it immediately made sense to me why she was walking around with this posture that she was walking around with this introvert voice. And she was trying to hide. She was self-conscious and she was trying to hide what she thought was a deformity, right? So I just went ahead and I started training with her like I would with any of my clients. However, for those of you who are familiar with Pilates, you understand that Pilates is about stabilization, it's about strengthening, but it's mainly about form and posture, about aligning the body properly. So she kept coming in twice a week, and instinctively after each session, I'd stand her up in front of the mirror. I'd made her swoop her hair behind her ears, smile at herself in the mirror, and I'd tell her how beautiful she looked, standing upright in front of the mirror, smiling. She kept coming in. She was getting stronger. I got to know her. What a lovely lady. And for the sake of anonymity, we will call her Rebecca. And Rebecca kept coming in, and 10 weeks into her training, which would make it about 20 sessions, she came prancing in the door. I barely recognized her. She had cut her hair completely short, like a pixie hairstyle. And she had a huge smile on her face. And in tow was a gentleman. a gentleman I had never met. She walked up to me, gave me the biggest hug, and he came straight in for the hug, took me by the shoulders, pushed me back, looked me in the eye, and said, "Hi, Vanessa, I had to come in and meet you, and I am so happy to meet you. I am Rebecca's husband, and I want to thank you because you changed her life." And I was completely dumbfounded. I had no idea what had just happened in that moment. I was completely lost for words. All I could say was thank you. And he left and we continued with our session. Needless to say, after that, I went home and I reflected on what had happened. And now, years and years later, almost 15 years later, through the years, everything that I have been teaching, I realized that that was a pivotal moment. And that was the moment where I realized that the body work that I was doing with people, but in particular, posture, had so much to do with what had happened there. And so with that said, I want to share with you that one of the principles that I share with you, and I'm going to share 3 with you today. I don't have a lot of time left. I only have a few minutes, but I want to tell you that I hope this story drove home my message. What happens with us when we are feeling defeated, or when we are sad, or when we are depressed? Our posture and our body language completely adapts to our feelings. However, when you start understanding that the same is true, if you can change the way you move around, if you change your posture and your body language, it can change the way you feel. It changes the chemicals in your brain. It's kind of like going for a run. You've heard people talk about the runner's high, the endorphins that get released in our bodies when we go to exercise. Simple change in posture by standing upright, and then our body language, our facial expressions are part of this. By using your smile, by literally smiling at yourself in the mirror, looking yourself in the eyes, and telling yourself that you are worthy, that you have what it takes, that you are a strong human being. Those simple things, if you can implement that on a daily basis in your life, everything can change. And of course, like anything, it's a muscle that needs to be practiced. And in everything that I teach and everything that I work with my clients on, of course, we go into this in depth. And it has to do with awareness. And I'll just tell you that Shamima is going to do a wonderful journaling exercise with us today later, where she's going to go into values and feelings and purpose and all these things. Of course, I get to all that. My methods are a little unconventional. I work from the outside in, but as human beings, we operate from the outside in and the inside out. And when we understand that connection between the mind and the body, the mind, the mental, emotional, and how we take care of ourselves as human beings, Laura's going to be talking to us about self-care today. I just want you ladies to understand that if you can become more aware of the way you show up in person, in flesh, it will change the spirit, the mental, emotional, and the feelings that go along with that. And it will bring you a lot of joy in your life. And so I'm going to share my screen for another second here, just to show girls and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Can you all see this? All right, so you have your very own superpowers. The 3 things I want you to become more aware of in your everyday life from now on. And this isn't anything you don't know, you guys. I know this. But my goal is for you to raise the awareness, change your attitude about it, and understand the kind of empowerment that this gives you. That open, beautiful, royal, confident posture. Use it. You've got it. It's yours. It's yours to use. Your smile. Nothing is as disarming and as heartwarming as your smile. Bring your smile into your day, every day, not just for others, but also for yourself. And then the third, and of course, I have many more, but these three is all I have time for today. Eye contact, you guys. You've heard it many times. The eyes are the windows to your soul. And when it comes to being authentic and being truly you and creating wonderful relationships, if you are shy, let me know. I can help you. I can help you get past that. If you have severe anxiety or nerves when you want to step up on stage or even just walk into a network meeting or a cocktail party or a job interview or that first date, you guys, make eye contact. Let people see your soul. Let people see who you are. That is what they connect with. So your three main superpowers that I want to share with you today is your posture, your smile, and your eyes. Um, I have some other things listed here. If you walk around with good posture, it eliminates pain. When we are in pain, we don't feel good. We don't want to communicate. We feel grumpy. We feel irritable. By changing your movement patterns, you can get rid of that pain. You look and feel confident, and confidence is beautiful. Confidence is attractive, you guys. Raise your awareness, change your attitude, and show up for yourself and others. Every day, it will change everything for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I wanted to let you know that just for those of you who are here today, I have a wonderful program called the Show Up Program. I work with you and help you show up as the best version of yourself when you need it most. And it's normally a $997 program. Today for you, it's only $197. And I share with you a copy of my book as a bonus. And if for some reason you have questions about this, you can get hold of me at vanessa@victoryfactor.com. And if you want just the book, you can also find that at readkillerconfidence.com, you guys. And I know the time flies. That was 20 minutes. Can you believe it? But if you have any questions, please post in the chat. I will be happy to answer your questions. I'll be happy to reach out to you. Please reach out to me if I can help you with anything. And if you want to step up your game, find joy, find your purpose, find your value. Guys, you are all worth it. We are all here because we need to be here. And I love you all. I'm so happy for this time to share this message with you. Sorry, I meant to stop sharing there. And so, yeah, I hope you all got a little something out of that. And then I'm going to, from here, hand it back over to my beautiful co-hostess, Hasina, and she is going to introduce our next speaker to you. Thank you so much, you guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa. That was such amazing information that people can apply to their everyday lives starting now. And all of you who are watching, Shamina has posted in the chat. So if you're wondering about some of the key points from Vanessa's talk, they are there, as well as her contact details and details about her program. So just feel free to look in the chat. And now it is my privilege to introduce our next speaker, Priscilla Everhart. She's a holistic mentor with Live Boldly, empowering individuals to achieve personal, professional, emotional, spiritual, and physical goals. Priscilla has over 25 years in natural health care. She's worked with chiropractors, kinesiologists, traditional Chinese medical practitioners, and has also been a certified chiropractic assistant since 2006. She's been a certified solution-focused hypnotherapist since 2004 and is a certified trainer for hypnotherapists, trained in muscle testing too, advanced guided imagery, neuro-linguistic programming, emotional freedom technique, magnified healing, Reiki 2, chakra balancing, the four agreements, Ho'oponopono, and feelings buried alive never die. Priscilla, that is such a wonderful array of healing modalities, and it's a privilege to have you here today. Um, and I know that the topic of your talk is healing your body from the inside out, if I'm correct. Yes, healing your body from the inside out. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hasina and Vanessa. That was just absolutely beautiful. I think one of the things that I have begun to feel right from the first time we all logged on here and listening to the music and listening to Vanessa's talk is what a great tribe. What a great tribe when we can come together with like hearts and like minds and like wills that want to learn and to share and to connect. And I just feel so privileged to be a part of that. So thank you so much. So today I want to share with you about healing the body from the inside out. And much like Vanessa shared, all this information, you probably all know this information. Nothing is really new. It's just the twist on how we make it work for you. So I think one of the greatest things that Vanessa kept talking about was awareness. And that is the same thing here that I want to share with you in healing the body from the inside out. Awareness, awareness of your mind and the thoughts that are going through your mind. Awareness of what those thoughts and how those thoughts make you feel, and awareness that our thoughts and our feelings now evoke an emotion. That's the energy. Now we're connected. So whether that's a good cycle or a negative cycle, that's how your energy's moving. So when we're talking about healing from the inside out, there's some really cool basic information. And you may hear this reiterated by other people that are going to be speaking today. So the first one, obviously, is about the food that we eat. We are what we eat. That's, that is so very true, because what we eat is what builds all the cells in our bodies that create the organs and our muscles and have to do with our neurotransmitters and the whole incredible network of what goes on inside of us is affected by the foods we eat. Now, I'm sure most of you know what a healthy diet is, but we're going to mention some of those things just because it's important to recognize that to eat fresh, to eat as close to nature, that is always going to be your optimal way of helping the body to heal. Our food is our medicine. So I want you all to, again, just awareness of that. And then going to the other side, the foods that you want to really stay away from are the processed foods, the sugars, the soda, the artificial ingredients. So if it says fat-free or sugar-free, you really don't want to engage in any of that, even though you may think that will help you. They really hinder the body, because if they're taking out that fat and that sugar, then they're certainly putting something else in there to replace it. So our food is one of the ways that we heal from the inside out. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. We are electromagnetic beings. And if we do not have the minerals that come from the foods that we eat, and we don't have the fluids inside of our body, our bodies and our cells cannot react optimally and do what they need to do. So drinking water, hydrating is so very important to our electromagnetic being. Supplementation. Supplements are good. Sometimes we need to supplement because we don't have a really great diet. Not everybody can eat fresh. I'm aware of that. So we tend to supplement. Supplements are good. I deal with people all the time. They want the best supplements and they're willing to pay a lot of money. Well, all of that is well and good. But if your body is not in a place where it can digest and use those supplements, then you're creating some pretty incredibly expensive urine and waste products, right? So we want to be able to have that body in a place where it can absorb, where it can take the food. So that's one part of healing your body from the inside out, is assuring that you are eating, drinking, and getting your vitamins, your body, the vitamins and minerals that it needs. The next part of healing your body from the inside out would be structurally. It would be about movement. How are you moving? Are you getting up in the morning, eating a breakfast, getting in a car, going to work, sitting at a desk all day, getting up and coming home? If that is your lifestyle, no matter how busy you are, you're not moving enough. And you know, just like Vanessa was sharing, she knows the importance of moving. If we don't use it, you will lose it. So it's so important for the body in a healing aspect to get the exercise it needs, to release the endorphins it needs to release, to get our neurotransmitters doing what they need to do. We need to move. And there's so many simple, incredible ways. Of course, Vanessa can help you with that. But even just 15 minutes a day of getting your heart rate up, even if you're just sitting in a chair and just moving your legs and your arms, getting that heart rate up and down for 15 minutes, it's going to make a difference. And if you do that 2 to 3 times a day, even if you're just walking in place, if you can't get outside, of course, I live here in Florida. I am outside 3/4 of the year. Really only in the hot summer am I not really on that outside, or I'm outside in the very early mornings or in the evenings. But I am an outdoor person. I grew up in Maine. I connect so much with nature. And that's another way of healing from the inside out. So we segue from this movement of making sure that you're moving, you're eating, you're drinking, into connecting with nature. Now, most people might not think about that when you think about healing, but nature is very healing. Being able to be outside, standing on the ground, barefoot, taking up the energy, recognizing an awareness. Most of you know that the earth has a magnetic resonance and that we suck that up, but we wear shoes and we put things underneath us and rubber mats and plastic things so we don't get wet. And all of those things, those barriers, stop us from really taking up the beautiful energy that the earth has to offer. So getting out there barefoot, you know, again, for me, I'm so blessed. I'm here in Florida. I can get out to the water. I can walk in the sand. But I am telling you that every morning I get up, and after I've done my meditation and my prayer, I walk outside and I just stand there. I just stand on the grass. And in Florida, we have to watch out for those red ants. So I'm always looking at where I'm standing. But just that few minutes, I am aware of just connecting to the earth. And I know by doing that, I am raising the energy in my body, which helps my body to heal. So then that brings me to the next part of what helps us even more so than food and more than exercising, is the awareness of our emotional well-being. That our subtle energy field is affected by the traumas and the stress and the worries and the concerns. And you know, coming off of this year of 2020 and all of this COVID, that so many more people have been affected in so many more ways because we have been encapsulated and closed, because we have become so much more fearful. And all of those energies, those feelings of stress and worry and concern, take down your immune system. So really what you want to do is, when you have those feelings, when the minute that you feel, the moment that you feel fear, you feel worry, you feel concern, it would be so beautiful to just envision a light switch, and you just want to touch that switch and change that emotion to joy, love, happiness, even if you're not feeling it, to just say the word and have the awareness that that's really the place you want to be in, then, oh my gosh, you are already changing every internal process in that body the minute you think those more positive thoughts. Now, most of you probably remember the Japanese scientist who did the water crystals. And just by taping a word to these little petri dishes, the water crystals formed according to that word. Now, how could a water crystal know what a word is? And it's because it's energy. Everything is energy. And on the positive petri dishes, the crystals were perfect. And with the, not the more negative words, they were deformed. Well, think about your body. We are 80%, whatever those percentages are, of liquid, of water. That's why hydrate, 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 and having the minerals are so very important to your healing from the inside out. So you can see that just by thinking more positive things, that you are absolutely going to change what's going on inside of you. So it's so important to be aware of your emotional well-being. Your emotional well-being affects your physical well-being. Your physical well-being is affected by the food that you eat. So if you are into a diet of fast food and quick things and everything out of the freezer and thrown in the toaster oven, and you're just eating all of that, well, you're not going to feel on top of your game. And if you don't feel on top of your game, then you're not going to move. And when you don't move, now all of your emotions begin to shift, and you can see how we can get into a cycle that isn't healthy for us. Here's the great, beautiful news. That cycle works the same way in the opposite. When you eat healthy, fresh foods, then you feel better. And when you feel better, you're going to move more. And when you move more, you're going to even feel greater still. And you're going to want to keep that cycle of goodness, of feeding your mind, feeding your body, all the things that are goodness and light and love and joy. And then you create balance. So you can see that these cycles, we can get stuck into the cycles. So now you become aware. Where are you in those cycles? And what can I do? How can I pick myself up and break the cycle if I'm in the negative cycle? And it is simply, it can be through eating, it can be through movement, and it can be through your thought, through your awareness. Your emotional well-being is so tied in to your physical well-being that we create the dis-ease that is in our body. And I like to say it like that, dis-ease. That's all it is. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is. It doesn't matter what you claim you have. The body knows how to heal itself. And if you give it the right things, then it can work to heal itself. It knows what to do. But that is another belief factor that needs to be integrated into your lifestyle for healing the body from the inside out. The next most important part is I want you to be aware of the connection of your mind and your heart. So just think about that, the awareness of your mind and your heart. And I want you to just think about your heart right now. And if you'd like to close your eyes and relax as I go through this, I would recommend you do that. I want you to just think about your physical heart, that incredible muscle that pumps life-giving blood through your body every moment of every day. And how incredible that is that you don't even have to ask your heart to do that. It just knows what to do. And maybe you could even place your hand on your heart and just begin to get an awareness. Can you feel it pumping? Can you feel that movement underneath your hand, of that incredible muscle and what it is doing, and give thanks for your heart just right now, taking a moment to give thanks for this incredible muscle inside of us that keeps us moving, that keeps our bodies healthy. And I want you to recognize, as you're sitting there with your hand on your heart, connecting so aware with your mind, that the heart is not simply just a muscle that does all that incredible thing. The heart is a place where we store love. And I want you to think right now, what does love mean to you? What is love for you? Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it an animal? Is it a feeling? Is it a memory? Are you visual? Can you see it? Can you feel it? I want you to just think about love, and I want you to build that love in your heart right now. Just build it. Just all the memories, all the feelings, what love is to you. I want to build you to build your heart so big and expand it so big that you feel that it's almost going to burst. But instead of allowing it to burst with all that love, I want you to consciously think about pushing that love down through your shoulders, down through your arms, out through your fingertips. I want you to think about pushing that love down through your waist, down through your hips, down through your legs, all the way out the bottom of your feet. I want you to think about pushing that love up through your neck, up through your face, up through your head, all the way out of the top of your head. And I want you to now imagine and recognize that you are now surrounded by all that love that was inside of you, as if you have just created a cocoon of love. And I want you to just be there in that incredible cocoon of love. And just as easy as it was to push it out there, I want you to imagine now that you're just a sponge, and you're going to bring all that love right back inside of you. So just soak all of that love back up inside, just filling again your amazing body with all that love. Soak it all up, bring it all back in. And now take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. And when you're ready, very gently open your eyes. And I want you to just feel how amazing it is to be so full of love, and to recognize the most incredible power you have for healing the body from the inside out is love. The highest vibration, it heals all things. And it is so simple to connect your mind and your heart, and to be aware of how you are moving, how you are eating, how you are drinking, connecting all of these things. But the greatest of these things is love. And that is my message to you today.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing your message. And just as you said, I look forward to connecting with you more after here too. We all speak the same language. We speak it in different ways. I resonate with your message so hugely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You guys, Shamima put that in the chat for you. You can win a live Boldly mentoring session with Priscilla by just putting your email in the chat there. It's worth $75, you guys. And she's just obviously an amazing woman, and she absolutely knows what she's talking about. Please reach out to Priscilla and, use her knowledge.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Priscilla, so
Thank you.
much. Well, you guys, we are on a roll, and I'm not going to stop here. We are going to take a little break I believe, after our next speaker, because it's a good morning, and we want you all to be able to absorb everything. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you my beautiful friend, Laura Cross. She is an Air Force veteran, a multiple business owner, and passionate about helping people unplug, recharge, and live a healthier lifestyle through travel and self-care. She is here to share some of her wisdom with us today. And here she is to share with you, Laura Cross.
Thank you, Vanessa. I'm really excited to be here. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. Also, you know, self-care was not a word that was ever really in my vocabulary. By nature, I am a person that has always taken care of others. I put other people's needs before myself. So how did I get around to self-care? Well, as Vanessa told you, I am an Air Force veteran. I've been military all my life. My father was military. I went into the military as an aircraft electrician. I wired F-15s and F-16s. And then when I got transferred over to Arizona, I was fortunate enough to meet a wonderful man who was also in the Air Force and did ground radio. Unfortunately, that put us on opposite ends of the flight line. But, you know, military is a totally different life. You know, yes, you're traveling, but you're not traveling on your own terms. You're traveling where you need to. You have your 2 weeks vacation. When we met and got married, we had Desert Storm going on at that time. So not only did it almost cancel the wedding, but we never had a honeymoon. That was just not even possible. And then once that calmed down, I was actually able to separate from the military. And then we went back overseas. Because of his job, it depends on your job title in the military. And because of his job, he was deployed 3 to 4 months at a time, home for a month or two. So we spent half of our marriage separated. When we finally got back to the States here and we got back to Colorado, we were finally able in '98 to have him home. He was home and start putting together a normal life. We were making our plans because since we didn't get to travel on our own terms, never had a honeymoon, we were making plans to do all of that. However, life had a different plan for me. We had 3 dogs for kids. And in December of 2004, 2 days later, I had to put one of our dogs to sleep. So that was when our first child going. And then 2 weeks later, my husband died. We were laughing at lunch and he was dead by 10 o'clock that night due to an aortic arch dissection and heart attack. So if it wasn't for me always wanting to take care of other people and put other people's needs first, I still had 2 dogs. Those were our kids. So that's what kept me going initially, you know, because to me, no one else could take care of them the way I could. And if it wasn't for them, I really at that time would not have even cared what had happened. But after that, and after you got settled down, I really started learning that I now had to take care of myself. I had to restart my life over and figure out how to start taking better care of myself. I went into the travel industry a little over 14 years ago now because I love to travel, but I wanted to travel on my own terms. And there are so many health benefits to travel. And that's what we're here talking about is self-care and taking care of yourself. You've heard it mentioned being out on the beach. Here you can go in the mountains, or maybe later today we can go play in the snow. It's just really important to take that time. Americans are particularly bad about not using their vacation time. They don't use their sick time. And they just pretty much work till you die. I've been there and done that. I'm not about to have this wonderful man that I've met that I've been with now for over 15 years do the same thing. I make sure we take that time aside and we make the vacation. You know, a lot of people perceive self-care as something that's selfish. I want selfish. It is absolutely essential to living a healthier lifestyle. If you look up that definition of self-care, it will tell you that it's the practice of taking an active role in protecting your own self-being, your happiness, and especially during periods of stress. One of my friends that, and colleagues and stuff, choose to be an airline attendant. If you've ever flown on a plane, you know, what's one of the things they tell you? If something happens, put the oxygen mask on you first, and then you take care of the kids. Why? Because you can't take care of anyone else if you do not take care of yourself. And I've found that out. I've helped people, I've taken on their stress, their roles, and it weighs you down. If you don't take care of yourself, you're looking at an increased anxiety, possibly being angry, your relationships suffer. There's a number of things. You don't get sleep. Your body can only do that for so long. So my whole point is that people really need to take that time, find out, you know, what it is that, you know, makes you happy or gets you in that happy place. We started this call off with music. I will tell you, music and dancing is my happy place. If I'm having a bad day, I love putting on noise canceling headphones, blocking out the world, and I'm in my happy place. You know, just, you need something to reset. We have way too many people. My whole thing is create time for you. We have way too many people that are not unplugging. A lot of us are business owners. Your business is great, but it's not going to stay working if you're not working. So you really have to take care of yourself. Put the electronics down. If you can't take the time to go away for like an entire week or a weekend, at least take a day, take a few minutes out of the day. I mean, anything is better than nothing. There's different types of self-care. You know, you have the emotional self-care, you have the practical, the physical, the mental, which we've talked about some of that as well, social and spiritual. I mean, there are actually 6 different types of self-care, and there are a ton of things that you can do, and they don't even cost a lot of money. I mean, it's just carving out that time for you. It may be running a hot bath and go soaking in it. It may be just take the dog for a walk, go away, lay on the beach if you're in Florida, you know, go to the mountains if you're here, go hiking. You need to do something because life is really too short not to. That is one thing that I learned. And so it has become my passion really to help people understand that life is too short. You need to unplug, you need to recharge and live that healthier lifestyle. It's really too short not to. So those are really most of my tips, you know, for you to do that. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I am in the process of writing my own education program where we can dive deeper because there's a lot of things you can do for self-care. I will tell you, I am one that used to hate to read. I've actually learned to love to read, and I've read the self-care books. They have made a huge difference. And if you don't like to read, that's easy to do too. Start by just, oh, I'm going to read a page today or 2, or just write for 5 minutes, and you'd be amazed at how much that grows. You know, you can actually get wrapped up in it and it just keeps going. But it's all about putting your mind in that right space and creating the healthier you. So one of the things that I have for you is I do have a link for you. She'll be putting in a chat is the whitesands67.com. That is a link that's you create a free account. You can change that site into 11 different languages, pay in 11 different currencies. It saves you up to 60% or more off of hotels, resorts, a whole lot more. So it makes it more affordable to take that vacation and get away and unplug from it all. And the other thing I'd like to do is invite you to my newest White Sands care chapter. It's a self-care chapter. It's actually, it's got a long title. It's Community and Cocktails Wellness Networking White Sands Self-Care Chapter. And I created that because I want us all to be able to share different things that we have, because you never know who you're going to connect with. And I wanted to be able to share that so that we can help other people, help them unplug, help them recharge, help them take care of themselves so that they can continue to take care of others. So I want to make sure everybody feels welcome to join that. And if you have some tips or something that you throw in there to help people, maybe a tip for the day, something else to try. But we all need to start taking better care of ourselves. I mean, like I said, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your business. You can't take care of anyone else. So self-care is essential for a healthier lifestyle. And I really want people to make sure that they create time for you because you are important. And put this stuff aside. We've got enough crazy going on. Unplug, get rid of it. Just immerse yourself in the lost world. I can't even tell you how important that is. I really don't want people to have the same regrets that I did. So if I can help anybody change that before that's too late, then I'm doing good. I'm good with that.
Thank you so much, Laura. That was so awesome. And I think it's something we can so relate to, all of us, especially the parents in the room, especially the moms who might feel guilty taking time for themselves. I particularly like that example of the oxygen mask. That's so powerful and something that we all know. And at this point, I just want to tell you guys that Shamina's posted Laura's information in the chat. So thank you so much. Our next, I should call her performer, is Hannah Glass. And let me just see. I'm actually looking to see. She messaged me. She's an 18-year-old. She's not here at this moment. Her internet connection was so bad she kept on wanting to get on and couldn't. But I'm going to tell you a bit about her. My sister Shamina and I empower girls, and Hannah Glass was one of the graduates of our Lead No Girl Behind International School of Leadership. We are so proud of her. And she is in grade 12 at the moment, so next year she leaves school. I asked her what her dream is, and she says, my dream is to live in a world that people are able to be themselves without the fear of being judged or hated because of how they express themselves or because of factors about themselves that they cannot change. And that to me was very powerful. So I'm going to share screen now and just play Hannah's song. Share. All right, and here is Hannah Glass. Okay, I'll start again with that. Don't tell me what you think. Oh, what good chances you are gonna be wrong. All I want is I don't wanna have to be scared. I don't wanna become bad. But I will stay away. I don't wanna be without a choice, without a voice. No, don't tell me what you think of what the chances you are gonna be wrong. All I want is equality, not to have to prove who I am, to understand as a human. It shouldn't matter how I choose to dress or who I'm not. The fact that I'm human to be enough for you to treat me with some basic human decency. So don't tell me what you think of what this chances you are gonna be wrong. All I want is equality, not to
what you think of, but good chances you are gonna be wrong. All I want is not to have to prove who I am, to urge respect as a human. Don't tell me what you think of, what good chances you are gonna be wrong. All I want is equality.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Yes, it was. And if you heard those words, they're just so amazing.
Yeah, very talented. And she wrote that song herself, Hasina, right?
Yes.
That's her own original music. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Very sad that she couldn't be with us in person, but really appreciate it. Now, you guys, we are going to take a short break so you guys can get up and stretch your legs. Please don't log off of Zoom if you don't have to. Stay with us, and we will be back in 15 minutes. So I have 9:06 here. So let's say 9:20? Sorry, my math.
10:20.
That's Pacific time. Hasina, what time will it be there? Or Shamima?
7:20.
All right, 10:20, you guys. And for those of you in Colorado, 11:20, I believe. All right, so take a little break, stretch your legs. We have some amazing speakers coming up after the break. Our beautiful Jade is going to share some wonderful things with us about showing up on camera and some other stuff that's awesome. And our beautiful co-host Hasina will be speaking. Everyone, please send love and hugs to Leela. She's unfortunately not feeling well, so she's not going to make it in today. But I'll see you guys in just a few. So see you back at 9:20.
And I hope you've enjoyed the break. It's amazing how fast 15 minutes can go, everyone. So I have the privilege of introducing our next speaker. Our next speaker is Jade Alexander. Jade has a gift for breaking down complex and intimidating concepts into comprehensible bites. She's been teaching everything from business marketing, videography, ballroom dance, foreign language since the age of 13. And she's best known for her funny and off-the-cuff speaking style. I can attest to that. Jade is amazingly entertaining. She draws in audiences with her stories while giving them easy and universal ways to stay current with the world of video and internet marketing. And her approach will show everyone how to pivot their businesses to excel in an ever-changing world. So Jade, we are so privileged to have you. And, you know, as usual, you've just been so amazing in your support of us and this event. So thank you so much for that. Take it away.
Well, hello, everyone. I hope that you all are having a wonderful morning on this. Well, if you're in Colorado, it's quite the weather. But I'm here today to share with you a little bit about video presentation. Now, I can tell by as many people that are not showing their video, myself included, that there's a comfort level with presenting yourself online. And with that comfort level comes down to things like something as simple as you're an introvert, which honestly is not that simple because I'm an introvert. So I know what that's like. I know the struggle of that. And a lot of it comes down to self-love. I know as younger individuals, we tend to be exposed to a lot of things of what a person should look like. I think everyone's pretty familiar with what I'm implying. within our pop culture. And so when we don't look like whatever that thing is that we think we're supposed to look like, we're hard on ourselves. So my thing that I tell people when it comes to, oh my gosh, I don't want to be on camera. I literally had somebody tell me that they didn't like my videos because my eyes were too big. I was like, really? Okay. So clearly that's not my type of person. But to really enjoy and love the things about you that are great, and then double love, like full on double love the things about you that you're not as comfortable with. So for example, for me, I had really bad acne for most of my life, and I have scars all over my face. And I used to not want to be on camera because I knew people could see that. And it didn't matter how funny I was or how much makeup I put on, I was never comfortable with that because I felt like it was there. Now I celebrate those because that pain is no longer here. I mean, I still have the marks of it, but I've fallen in love with that, getting over that side of things and being like, oh my God, my face doesn't hurt. This is great. And I know my eyes are giant, and that's a good thing because you can always tell what I'm thinking. I have like no poker face, so I will lose all my money if we ever play poker together. So I enjoy that about myself because I am so expressive. And in a world that we're in now, especially, I mean, I'm in a way grateful that I got to meet all of you wonderful people here, especially those of you in South Africa that I would have never met before. I have this opportunity to meet you, and when I wouldn't normally have had that. And we are forced now to communicate with each other through Zoom, through video. And one of the things that we're missing is what's going on here, all these facial cues that you give. Because when you're interested in something, your eyes light up. When you're bored, you kind of glaze over. I see this one a lot in meetings. And you just don't get all of that interaction that you do when you're in person. And when people have trouble being on camera, myself included, what I tell them to do, especially when they have to present, is that is so hard. Like sitting in front of a camera and being like a part of the discussion is one thing. When you're asked, okay, talk about something, you're like nothing comes out, right? Especially when you're an introverted type of person. So what I tell people to do is do the best that you can to take the focus off yourself. Because as an introvert, I do feel like I'm under a microscope. What are they judging about me? Did I use the right word for what I was trying to say? Are my eyes too big? Is my shirt folded weird? Like you think of all these things because most business owners are hyper intelligent people. So there is always a hamster going at some point in our brains. Even when we try to sleep, there's still one doing, I guess, REM sleep hamster cycle. So, you have all this going on in your brain. And then you add on that effect of, oh my gosh, all the things I'm worried about, what I'm worried about saying, and then all these people I'm trying to impress. So it's really a hard thing to do. So I say focus on what you're talking about and think about the people you're trying to help. When you put somebody else in the position of, okay, I am sharing online today, early in the morning for me anyways, because I work nights and I don't want to be on camera. I'm nervous. The weather sucks outside. That's all about me. When I'm here talking, I'm thinking about you. What do you need to hear from me? What service am I providing you? What information I'm providing you to help you? And then it's no longer me worrying about, is my hair curling weird? When I let the dog out, is it frizzing? Are my eyes too big? I'm going to stick on that one because that one's still obviously in my craw. Did I use the right word just now? Like all of that stuff is no longer in the forefront because I'm thinking, okay, how can I help these women stop losing business because they're not comfortable in the camera? How can I teach these things and explain this so that way they can attract the right kind of clients that they want, that they don't get these like bottom feeder people that take advantage? Because when you're an empath, like I would assume based off of who I'm seeing here, most of you are kind people. And those they're like vampires. They're like they'll get you and they will suck all the life and energy out of you because you got the wrong person and they saw you like a predatory creature, like very predatory. So one of the ways, of course, to prevent attracting somebody that you don't want to work with is to kind of show up. So you can kind of get my personality kind of going on here. I don't know if you see my personality in my background and my face. You're already getting an idea of what it's like to, be around me. The next thing that I tell people to do when they're like, well, what should I produce so I can attract the right client? produce things that you like. Show up with hobbies and things that you like. I'll give you an example. I was in a meeting. I said something very nerdy. Those of you who are nerds out there, I threw it out. Who would win in a fight, Boba Fett or Deadpool? And I got a client based off of that because he was also a comic book nerd. And so when he saw my first perspective of like, oh, well, she's just, one of those preppy girls, right? And I said that, then he messaged me telling me his answer. And I was like, well, we're going to discuss this. And so we started talking back and forth. I shared something that I enjoyed. I got another client because I put some figure skating videography of myself up there and just showing like, this is how you would film a DIY for figure skating. They picked me. So get out there with what you're comfortable with. I mean, obviously, if you have like a guilty pleasure that you really don't want people to know about, I wouldn't suggest throwing that out there. Like, oh, I love, soap operas of this, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're not comfortable sharing that, don't do that. But share things about yourself that you like. And always, when you present yourself, treat it like dating. So when you go on a date with somebody, most of us think I need to be on my best behavior. I have to do my makeup all perfect. I have to like make sure that I don't talk with my mouth open. Like, we try really hard for this other person. But to be honest with you, once you're dating somebody, you're not that perfect person all the time. And it's hard to be that perfect person. Like, it's so hard to always be like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's perfect. I'm so happy all the time. Like, you're allowed to have bad days. So when I say get on video, be your authentic self. Don't worry as much about how people are going to perceive you as like trying to be the perfect fit for everything, like the total, everyone likes me, like everyone's my best friend, because you're going to attract the wrong people. I want to work with people that are as altruistic as I am. I want to work with people that have a sense of humor, because I have one, and those of you that are watching me, it actually is like a defense mechanism. When I smile, when I laugh, when I make jokes, it's just like, an octopus at like the deep, like part of the ocean, when you have like a diver trying to take pictures of them and they're like trying to get away from the diver and they're changing colors. Like, that's what my sense of humor is. That's how I use it to protect myself, but it is who I am. And the way that I describe things, how much I use my hands, like all of my expressions, it just is who I am. And I want to stay away from the vampires that are going to I keep gesturing to my left, but I'm not left-handed. But the point is that always come through as your authentic self, because that way you're going to attract the right people. And that's hard. That's a big ask for me to you, to be like, okay, get on camera and be your normal self. And, don't worry about people judging you, because the reason we have that fear is because we've had that situation either in person where we were either made fun of, teased. This is what I guess grade school is for. Yay, high school was fun. Or even the whole thing when you're online and there's trolls. These are like professional bullies. That's what they do. But it's very hard to ask that of you. And I realize that. So here's an exercise I would like for you to do with me. And I want to make sure that I'm still on time, because I actually am numbers dyslexic. So that's fun too. Here's the exercise I'd like for you to do. Go ahead and blow your own picture up, or find yourself on the grid here. Look at yourself and find one thing you love about the way you look right now. Find one thing. It can be anything. It could be the flower in the background. It could be that you picked a good lip color today, that your hair worked. Now I want you to identify one thing that you're uncomfortable with. And that can be anything. Now this time I want you to pretend that whatever your industry is, there's somebody sitting right in front of you on the other side of the camera who's desperately needing your help. Whether that's they have a severed arm, you need to take them to the ER, or they're really needing your product or service. Think of them, think of what you don't like, and think of what you do like. And then think of them one more time. So what we're doing here, you can relax now. You don't have to stare at yourselves anymore unless you want to. I mean, if you like the way you look, go for it. But when you are feeling uncomfortable with, we'll go back to the acne, with what's going on here, I can't think about that and help another person at the same time. It's not possible. And again, you guys are very altruistic people. You're going to go out of your way to help others. So when you are feeling uncomfortable, when you are feeling that this is not for you, when you are having this anxiety of getting in front of a camera and being like, okay, I need to remember what I'm saying, think of that other person. So I have lots of tips and tricks on anything from nervousness to authenticity to attracting the perfect client. I have an online course as well as like a community, a group, which actually several of you are involved in. Will you raise your hands for me? Make me feel loved. Yeah, so you'll have some friends there if you end up showing up. But I would like to offer you a 14-day free trial. Just show up, learn what you can. We have, I do webinars, live Q&As, hands-on videos. I'm here to support you and I want you to be successful. And when you're not feeling that you have support, when you're not feeling comfortable, message me and I will help you the best I can because I want to be here for you too. So I think that's my time. Am I correct on that? Yeah. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for your attention. And again, have a great day. Message me if you need to talk to me. I heart you all on the inside.
Oh, my heart is a bit lacking. But anyway, it's in real time. I am hearting you, Jade, and thank you so much. And really, I could listen to you all day because you've taught me so much. I mean, people, this lighting is Jade. You should have seen how my videos were. Those of you who watch my Facebook lives can actually watch them compared to this. So that was all Jade. Thank you so much. And I have the privilege now of introducing someone who's very dear to me, my beautiful sister, Shamina Patel. And Shamina's going to be doing a collaborative drawing exercise. I'll tell you a bit more about her. So Shamina and I work together. She does all the back work. The chat right now she's doing. She liaises with people. And as Jade was talking about introverts, Shamina would describe herself as one. But she's a pleasure to work with. She's so organized. We empower girls together in Leave No Girl Behind International. And in our other business, Shamina Patel Truth Walker, she also just does all the organization, all the behind scenes work, and she's also a coach. And with that, and she's an author. Our book, Unstressed, Unlimited, and Unbreakable was just published a few days ago. So that's really exciting. And this is Shamina.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so we're going to do a really fun exercise. To claim your inner power, you need to know what your vision is, what your purpose is, what your values are. But the thing is, we live in a thinking world. So we're taught to think first and not feel first. And yet our feelings are our greatest guidance system. They tell us whether we are being in alignment with who we are, or if we're thinking a thought, whether it fits who we are by the way we feel. So does everyone get your journals out? And in front of you in your journal, you're going to draw a big rectangle. And I am going to share a picture with you. Okay. There we go. So it looks something like this. You're going to draw a rectangle with a circle in the middle. And then you're going to divide your rectangle into 4 quadrants. Okay, so next, this is a feeling exercise. So in the 4 quadrants, what you're going to do is you are going to write in the top left corner, health, in the top right corner, business, in the bottom left corner, relationships, and in the bottom right corner, spiritual or personal. Okay, so now close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. As you do, release any thoughts, worries, stresses, anything that's consuming your mind right now. Allow your mind to be completely calm, to be open to receive your inner guidance. Now open your eyes. Now you're going to look at each of these quadrants. You know what you want to make you happy in each of them. But instead of writing the words down of what makes you happy, what is the feeling that would represent? So for example, if you want a healthy body, what does a healthy body mean to you? Maybe it's freedom, maybe it's security, maybe it's power. So whatever feelings come to you about your body, it could be more than one, it could be one. Just write it down under health. Now go to the business quadrant. What would your ideal be for business? Write down the feelings that represent that. It could be freedom, it could be security, it could be trust. Whatever feeling or feelings represent your definition of what would be ideal in your business. Okay. Next, we'll move on to relationships. What feelings come to you about your relationship? Maybe you want to have more ease of communication. So maybe the feelings would be bliss or peace or joy. And last, we have, give you a minute. Last, we have spiritual or personal. What are the feelings that come to you about your personal connection, your spiritual connection? What is it that you want and what feelings represent it? Now, you may find yourself having used the same words over again, and that's fine. Now, from each quadrant, take the strongest feeling, the one that jumps out to you most, and write it in the circle in the center. The words in the circle, they represent your core. They represent your deepest desires in the form of feelings. So now we're just going to give you an example of how to use this. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Of the 4 feelings you wrote in the circle, let the strongest feeling come to the surface. Whichever one of those 4 is the most powerful of all. Feel that feeling right now. Allow that feeling to fill your entire being. Let it become so big that it just moves through you and the energy fills you up. In that space, you're connecting with your core. So you can open your eyes now. This is a powerful exercise. If you want to manifest, if you want to just a little bit of time to connect with who you really are, then you just take a few minutes and you look at those feelings you wrote in your circle and feel each feeling. Let that feeling fill your being and fill you up in every way. And when you start connecting to that part of yourself, you remove yourself from your everyday life and from all those little things and all the voices in your head and all the white noise, and bring yourself back to your core, back to who you really are and what matters to you most. And that's just a great way to connect with your desires. Thank you.
Oh, Shamima, thank you. Wow. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's so meaningful. And I feel like this really brings together the whole thread of our day. Shamima, thank you so much. Everything that everyone's been talking about and everything that it all comes back to our core values, the things that are important to us in our lives. That is really what drives everything that we do. Our interactions with others, our interactions with ourselves. If we can be sure we understand the way we value our lives and the way we value the things in our lives, that leads us on that path to success and to true joy and inner confidence, right? So thank you, Shamima, and thank you, Jade. That was lovely. I just, like I said, I feel like everyone that's here today is sending such a beautiful and amazing message. And I just wanted to add to what Jade said about, and I think it comes back to the story I told too. We so often draw attention to things in our lives that we think are inadequate, when other people really don't notice those things unless we make it visible for them. So if you put your attention on the service that you are giving, or the love that you're sharing, or the message that you're sharing, as Jade said, make it about the other person you are here to serve. And I know each and every one of you here on this call today are in that space. We are all givers. We are all here to give. And so really make that your focus, and you will thrive. So thank you, ladies. Now that brings me to our next amazing speaker, my co-host, Hasina. We are so excited to learn from you. Hasina is a South African mind, body, spirit breakthrough coach. She's a chief trailblazer of Shamina Patel Truth Walker. She's an author, a poet, international keynote speaker, Akashic Records reader, meditation teacher, and yoga instructor. She coaches women worldwide on unstress and unlimit themselves so that they can get healthy, be heard, and get paid. Hasina is co-founder and executive director of Leave No Girl Behind International, her nonprofit to empower girls through leadership. With a hammer, a square peg, and a survival knife, here's the lovely Hasina Patel.
Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa. And it's such a privilege co-hosting this event with you. You're just so awesome. So, yeah, that is a very unusual title for my talk, and you're probably wondering why. Let me ask those of you on video, and those of you who are not on video, you can raise your hands by going to those reactions as well. Who here used to keep a diary or something when they were growing up? Anyone? Okay, I see quite a few hands. So when I was 10, I used to keep a diary. And I regret that I actually threw it out, because it would have been fun to read now as a 45-year-old. That being said, I remember writing 3 things that I wanted to be when I grew up. And the first thing was that I wanted to be a lawyer. Okay, later I discovered that wasn't what I wanted to be, but that was what I wanted. I think deeper than that, I just wanted justice for people. I wanted to help people represent them so that their lives meant what they wanted them to mean. And the second thing was I wanted to help children. I have the privilege now of not helping children in trouble, but empowering girls before they get into trouble. And it's such a privilege to have some of the girls we've worked with here, like Sonia. You've been on from the beginning of the call. Yes, there's Sonia. And the third thing that I'd written down, oh, sorry, I didn't mention Megan, but I will mention her later when she sings. The third thing that I wrote down was that I wanted to be a poet. Well, at the age of 18, I had my first poem published in a South African women's journal, just the year when South Africa became a democracy and Madiba Nelson Mandela was elected. And that was a huge privilege. And I have written books since then. However, that being said, I remember going through my teenage years, and somewhere along the way, I lost who I was. I lost my confidence. I went so far away from who I was that at 18, I almost felt like I was in someone else's body. And I haven't really talked openly about this before. It's always easier for me to write than to talk about things that are just so personal. I was dressing like what other people's expectations were for me. I was doing my hair as I was expected to. In many ways, I was behaving as I was expected to. And really just inside that real me just wanted to scream and just let myself out. And I didn't feel I had the courage to. I didn't feel I had the courage to just be who I was. That's a horrible feeling. And I remember at 19, see, I used to collect pocket knives during my teenage years. I was what people called weird. I wasn't the person who liked necklaces and rings, so I collected pocket knives and so on. And I had a survival knife. And I remember at 19, I was sleeping with that survival knife under my bed. And I thought, well, I don't really want to be here. And maybe if I had what I called courage, I'd get up in the middle of the night and make sure that I wasn't here. And that was, thinking of it now, I mean, I have so much compassion for my 19-year-old self. As the universe would have it, I always feel we land up where we're supposed to. I suspect the housekeeper who worked for us at the time must have stolen the knife, and maybe it served her, like it definitely served her much better than it was going to serve me, but the knife was gone. So that was a really great thing. But I'd like to ask, and you don't have to put up your hands, but can anyone relate when you felt like you're living in a different body? You just don't feel at home. Yep. That's where I was. But I actually came back to my path. I believe that we all do come back to our path. And in my 30s, I feel like I started coming into myself, because I was prepared to, in my 30s, just tell people who judged me what they could go do with their judgment. And that was a nice feeling. I didn't ever tell them in the language I wanted to, believe me, I didn't, but that was how I felt. And that's the story of the survival knife. And as for the square peg and the hammer, I was that square peg being hammered into the round hole. And not so long ago, when there's another book that will be published later in the year, and when I gave it to the love of my life to read, he was like, "Babe, you kick ass with a hammer and a square peg and a knife." That's the name of my talk. But the real eye-opening moment came when I was about 38, and I found that I had a fibroadenoma in my right breast. And that was, it was a benign growth, but I remember standing in this corsetier's shop, and he was measuring me for a bra, because apparently when you're 4'11", you're not supposed to have a big chest, but I couldn't find any bra to fit me. So there I am in the corsetier's shop, and he is measuring me, and he says, "Can I ask you a loaded question?" And I say, "Yes." And he says, "When did you last go for a mammogram? Because it feels really grainy in there." And of course, I was so thankful that he said that. But I come from a medical family. So for me, it's like alarm bells were going off in my head. And I Googled, and eventually I was able to diagnose it as a fibroadenoma, and a doctor later concurred. But the thing is, that was what really turned my life on, because I started asking the question, what kind of a person doesn't notice a growth the size of a lemon in her breast? And what kind of a person just ignores that or doesn't notice it? And just from there, I had to start asking some questions about, don't I matter? Why do I matter? So this led to all the work I do, and I call a lot of it unwork. The book that Shamina and I wrote, which is now published, is called Unstressed, Unlimited, Unbreakable. Before I go into that, I'd just like you to think in your own life, have you had an awakening moment? Just that one moment where you feel what happened, and you start asking yourself questions. Just think to that one moment, and it will come to you easily if there is one, and if not, it might take time, but that's okay. So I am going to tell you that that point of stress, that point of where you feel limited, that point where you feel breakable and maybe broken, that's such a gift because it prompts you to start looking, to find your path. It brings you back to you. So in the realm of getting unstressed, the first thing that I'd say you do in your own life is those moments when you just feel overwhelmed, breathe. And I know that Priscilla talked a bit about that, and she spoke about the whole realm of how to make yourself feel better and being in nature. And just the act of breathing, even if you're having a troubling day at work, breathing deeply. So taking this breath and just letting it out and doing this 3 to 5 times. It won't even take you 20 seconds. Okay, breathe with me. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. And in. Out. Just open your eyes if they were closed. It makes a difference. And then ask yourself 2 more questions. And the first question is this mine? Whatever you found was stressing you, is this mine? Because possibly you're absorbing someone else's energy. You're not in your own space. You're thinking of something else. And if it can make a difference, great. But if that thought doesn't serve you, then it's just stressing you. And the second question well, it's not a question, it's really something to remember. Home is within. You don't have to be in a particular, you don't have to be in your meditation space or with your crystal or with anything else. You can be anywhere, and you can just know that home is within. Even if you're in the face of a very uncomfortable situation, go within, take those breaths, and just ask yourself the question, is this mine? And then you will come to the conclusion, home is within. And the other thing is just adapt, be flexible, collaborate with what is. Just now, when I was saying to Vanessa at the beginning of this event, I was the main host, and my Zoom suddenly had this it stopped and it said in process, and I didn't know what was happening. Everything, the whole meeting just dropped. And it's amazing that how many of you, is it 20, 23, 25 of you just came all. Thank you for that. But that was not expected. That was adapting to what is. Thank you for adapting. Thank you for being flexible and collaborating with the situation. The second step, being unlimited and limiting yourself. Finding yourself in the sea of light. When you then you go beyond your mental construct. Is this normal for me? Is this someone else? And yesterday, yourself, because situation, all creatures, insects adapt, animals adapt. Think of climate change. Babies adapt. You find a baby that's a few months old picking up a cell phone, knowing to say hello. Viruses adapt. Bacteria adapt. We're called on to adapt. And when we start being flexible and adapting, I met a 90-year-old woman, the mother of a friend, some years ago. She's since crossed over, and she actually said to me, I was in the shop, in my friend's shop, and I went up to her mom and I said, I really admire you, because she was converting. She had a cell phone in her hand, converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And I said, I really admire you, because the cell phone is relatively new in your life, and look what you're doing. And she said, you know what adapting is? Adapting is when you find yourself in someone else's home, you're not in your own bed, you're not in your own bathroom, don't have your own toiletries, you're adapting to the situation. And that is something that is really simple, but how often do we adapt? A dish breaks. Do we get into a tizzy about it, or do we just adapt and say, okay, I don't have time for it. What can I take from this? And then move on. So you've got to then just go beyond that, be unlimited. And part of being unlimited is what we focus on expands. What words are we focusing on? What words are we using? Are they serving us? What thoughts are we thinking? Are they serving us? What actions are we taking? Are we, through our actions, limiting ourselves or supporting our own limiting or limited beliefs? Quick exercise. Another thing that I'm adapting to, I didn't even check the time when I started my talk, so I don't even know how long it's going on, and I'll finish off quickly. But I'd like you to do an exercise with me if you'd like to. I want you to look at anything on the screen, or even in your own personal space. Look at anything that is green. Just look at it right now. Anything that is green that you see. Okay. Now I'd like you to close your eyes. And I want you to, everyone close your eyes, no cheating here. I want you to tell me what on the screen or in your space is blue. Anyone put up your hand. You don't have to respond, but put up your hand if you can't see it. Okay, so far I see one hand up, I see two hands up, I see 3, 4. Okay, you guys are a smart group. You can open your eyes now. But can I make the point that it was harder to see what was blue because we had on our minds what was green? We were not in our minds at that point, blue was not available to us. What we were looking for was only green. So if you're looking for something that's not available to you, that you believe is not available to you, you're immediately limiting yourself. So to unlimit yourself, you've got to make things available to you by asking yourself, what if? Just a big question, what if? Doesn't matter how unrealistic it is. We don't all know everything. I don't know everything. Things are available that 50 years ago or 20 or 10, we never even dreamed possible. Remember when we read the Harry Potter book and there were all those moving pictures, and now we have GIFs? I mean, come on. And the third thing is being unbreakable. And I'm going to start here with, I had to learn to trust myself. When you go through something where you reach a point that you don't want to be on earth anymore, that you don't recognize yourself and you don't like who you're being because you're not being who you are. When you reach that point, you don't trust yourself at all. You lose respect for yourself. And coming back from that to getting to a point where you trust yourself and asking yourself to visualize something good for yourself, to visualize unlimitedness is sometimes feels impossible. So what do we do when we don't trust ourselves? We take it little by little. It's like you give yourself parameters. You don't want to choose, but you just take it little by little. Right now, I don't have time to prepare too much to speak. And the reason I could trust myself for what comes out of my mouth was I set the intention of what I wanted to do. I set the intention of what I wanted to bring to everyone's lives. And I felt like if I just let it come out of my mouth, it will flow. I've done that with the meditation a few days ago. And I'm asking you now, challenge yourself. See what comes from you. It might not be for a talk. It might not be for meditation, but it might be for something else. Just trust yourself in one little bit of knowing. Trust yourself in just that little moment. And when you find that you have earned your own trust back, you have earned your own respect back, your inner being or source within or God within or your center, your heart, whatever you want to call it, when it feels like something is right, trust that. And if you don't know if you feel like something is right, just distance yourself and just see what it feels like if it was wrong. And you'll know the difference. Trust yourself to just know that little by little. You are unbreakable. So what you could do, and I know time, although we're early, I don't want to take up a lot of time. What you could do is just write a letter to yourself. And here's an example. Tell yourself of all the amazing qualities you have. Pretend you were someone else. And honor yourself, honor that person you're telling. You have compassion for other people. Like Jade said, you're all caring people. If you were telling someone something about themselves and having compassion for them, do the same with you. So a few years ago, I wrote this, I called it a love letter to me. And part of it is never doubt yourself. If you don't know what you have to give to others, let me tell you. You can teach others how to hang on to hope. You can teach them how to find peace, love, and a sense of happiness in the midst of external turmoil and conflict. You can change their perspective. You help them pick themselves up from the depths of despair. You get out of bed, or you help them to get out of bed no matter how they're feeling and to do what needs to be done. You have so much to give. Now receive the gift of knowing that. And to all of you, receive the gift of knowing that. Knowing what you do for others and the gifts that you have, what you give to others, because it makes a difference to them, whether you know it or not. Someone got up, someone smiled, someone said hello, you made a difference to someone's day. And if you think it's too early in the morning for that, think of yesterday. I promise you did. So I'm going to end with that. If you'd like to continue your journey, then as I mentioned, Shamima and I do have a book, Unstressed, Unlimited, and Unbreakable, How to Reclaim Your Voice in a Brave New World. Going with that, we're having a special on. We have a workshop that takes 3 hours. It has a lot of material, and we walk you through this individually, and we give you the support afterwards. That usually is $2,500. It's going today with a free book for $197. If you'd like to take that journey, and please, only if it resonates with you, you have to go within and see if that's the journey that you want to take. Everyone walks their own path. And if you'd like to take that journey, you can just email me or click on the link. I think Shamima's posting the link in the chat. So thank you very much. And with that, we've come to the end. Yes, Vanessa, I'll give it over to you in case you want to say something before Megan sings us out.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Hasina. It was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story and for sharing your wisdom. And again, I resonate so much with everything you had to share. And I'm sure every woman, and I saw we had a few gentlemen, I'm sure everyone can resonate. It is so important to find your truth and live your truth. I think earlier this week while teaching a class, I was mentioning that, and one of the reasons this resonated with me is too, that I went through a stage in my life where I thought it was my purpose to be there for everyone else and to make everyone else happy. But I was doing it at the cost of my own happiness and my own truth. And I was very grateful that I had someone close to me in my life who, I'll just say it, the love of my life, my husband, was the one that brought that awareness to me and said, you are being a doormat for others. People are walking all over you. You need to stand in your own power, and you need to own what you've got, and you need to take care of yourself. And, you know, that comes in so many different forms. And I think with everyone that spoke today, that was apparent that there's so many different ways to reach that place. And please, everyone, we will leave the chat up for a while. Each one of our speakers have an offer for you. If someone really, really touched your heart today, or you just heard something that you feel is really going to help you reach your goals and get you where you're going, help you up-level your business or your personal relationships, whatever it is where you need help, we are here for you. So I want to I'll take a moment and thank every single one of our speakers, you guys. You were amazing. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Priscilla. I'm very sad Leela couldn't make it. Hasina and Shamima, every single one of you were a shining light, and we are so grateful for you. If you would allow me, I just also want to let you guys know, those of you who are in South Africa, my book, if you don't want to order the paperback, I know it can be cumbersome to receive that quickly. I do have a Kindle version of my book, and we will post that in the chat for you as well. So you can get that on Amazon. And with that said, I'm going to let Hasina introduce our last artist. She is going to bring us some more music, and I will greet you and say love you all. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for everything that you've done to make this event possible. And everyone, let's just give Vanessa a hand. I know that we've been talking over the phone, and we've been preparing those 2 continents, and it's just been such a pleasure. So thank you, Vanessa. And now I'd like to introduce our singer-songwriter, Megan James. And yes, Megan is 22 years old. Like I said, she was a member of the Leave Girl Behind International Power Circle during her school years, and very impressive girl during her school years, and she's an impressive woman now. She's a veterinary science student at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. Today, she just moved back to residence at the university in this uncertain time. So she's just kind of unpacked and got her laptop on, and she's ready to play. And I had said to Megan, do you have any light? Like, we want to see her beautiful face, but we do what we have to do, and we're just going to enjoy hearing your beautiful music. Thank you so much, Megan, for being here, and take it away.
Thank you so much, Hasina. I'm not sure, can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Everything's good? Okay. I just wanted to say I'm so sorry for joining in late. Like you said, it's been a bit of a rush. And I also just want to say that I made it in time for your few moments of breathing. And not only for today, but I cannot explain how much that simple exercise has impacted my life. So that even helped me today. It was such a rush, and I managed to just, calm down a little bit and get back on track in that little moment that you took. So thank you for that as well. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. So I do hope that you guys enjoy this little song. I do relate to a lot that I've heard so far in this little time that I've been here, and the song that I've written just sort of happened, and it sort of came to me in a time where I didn't feel quite like I belonged on earth. And I just hope that it could have the same effect on other people as it did on me. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm just gonna go for it now. Look around, what do you see? Is it where you wanna be? Looking around, what What do you know? So much love to give and show. It's right there, not too far, bottled up in your heart. Just look in and you'll find, you'll believe. 1,000 smiles, 1,000 smiles, maybe more, maybe less, but I'm not so sure. 1,000 smiles, old and new, wrapped in love, just like you. 1,000 smiles pave the way, all the good and beautiful days. 1,000 smiles, oh so bright, just one smile can save a life. Search your heart, give it a go. What you have, feel and know. Search your heart and you'll see all let's go, good and free. My promise now, it's worth the try, not the pain, scars or cry. Just look in and you'll find, you'll believe. 1,000 smiles, 1,000 smiles, maybe more, maybe less, but I'm not so sure. 1,000 smiles, old and new, wrapped in love, just like you. 1,000 smiles pave the way, all the good and beautiful days. 1,000 smiles, oh so bright, just one smile can save a life. And times will come when all is blue, stakes are high, and friends are. This little song, trust in me, 'cause I'm not wrong. 1,000 smiles, maybe more, maybe less, but I'm not. Smiles, old and new, wrapped in love, just like you. 1,000 smiles pave the way, all the good and beautiful days. 1,000 smiles, oh so bright, just one smile can save a life. Smiles look like you in my heart and in a few. All I ask, share a smile and save a life. Thank you.
Oh my word. Can everyone unmute since we've come to the end? I think we'll just give Megan a clap so she can hear.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so
Beautiful,
much.
beautiful.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
The song is up on YouTube, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we don't have your YouTube channel. What is it?
It's just Megan James, although there are a lot of Megan Jameses in the world. So I think if you do search Megan James and 1,000 smiles, it should pop up, I think. Yeah, it's a bit difficult because I have a very common name.
Okay, well, if it doesn't, and if anyone wants to reach out and get the URL, just reach out to me. I'll make sure that Megan gives it to me at, sometime.
Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, you guys. Anybody have any questions before we go? Thank you so much for joining us today. Hasina, Shamima, Jade, Priscilla, Laura, and all our beautiful guests. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you are.
Vanessa,
Thank you.
should we take a quick picture
Oh yeah, picture. Oh crap, I almost forgot. So how do you want to do that? Just get
Can anyone screenshot?
Can
I can screenshot. Yeah, let's take a picture after everyone cried with that song.
It's authentic.
It's
All right,
beautiful.
so for the photo, could everybody look at your webcams? Tilt your chins up gently, not too much. And I will give you a countdown. Ready? Look at the webcam. 1, 2, 3. And stay there, don't move. I feel like I'm doing real photos in real life. Hold on 1 second. And I'm going to take one more once I get this file to download faster. Come on, internet. Okay, here we go for the second one, just in case anyone blinked or failed me. Ready, smile, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jade.
Hey.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Please reach out if we can help you with anything. We love you lots. Have a great weekend.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
And